how's it going? I'm Adam and welcome to my channel. Well, today we're going to be talking about my least used camera in my collection, the Olympus MJU. More specifically, the Zoom 80 version. It's a 35mm point and shoot camera. Now, most of you are probably already aware with the name Olympus MJU. It has a pretty hardcore following like the recored GR3s, Leica M6s, and the Hoga. But that following is more towards the OG version due to the fact that it has a prime lens with a minimal f-stop of f2.8. So keep that in mind if you are in the market. It is also good to know that my specific version is from Japan, so that's why it's called the MJU. If you get a copy from the States, I believe it's called the Infinity Stylus Epic. Yeah, I agree. A stupid name. Anyway, more on the camera later. My friend Matthew just came back from Taiwan, so me and my friend Michael decided to meet him for some coffee. I loaded up the Olympus MJU with a newcomer, Kodak Tri-x. I had some time to kill, so I walked around a bit and took some photos.
Camera, of course.
Yeah, I just want to put it out there. I am not a fan of Tri-x. I probably won't try it again. I don't blame you if you turn off the video now. Anyway, Matthew, being the better and more thoughtful person than me, he gifted me a bunch of film from Taiwan. Also, each of us actually ordered the new Oro color film, so Michael brought them to us. Thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to test it out. Okay, let's talk about the camera. The camera was released in 1999, which is, by the way, my favorite Prince album. The zoom goes from 38mm to 80mm, and the f-stop ranges from 4.5 to 8.9. So if you're into dreamy style bokeh types of photos, this is definitely not the camera for you. The shutter speed also ranges from 2 seconds to 1/600 of a second. It reads ISO from 50, 100, 200, 400, 800, 1600, and 3200. If the film is other than the ISO that I mentioned, it rates it to the next available lower ISO. Oh, and the autofocus goes as close as 60 centimeters. For those living in the States, that's about 24 inches or one average skateboard. Well, it was the next day and I met up with my friend Adam and JoJo for some coffee and a short photo walk. Yeah, if you decide to buy this camera, it is probably best if you don't zoom. I noticed that most of my zoom photos are just blurry and pretty much useless. I actually enjoy this photo of Adam. I think it's a pretty decent portrait. We went inside the University of Adam Mickiewicz and it was beautiful inside. I am actually really glad that the photo is blurry. With the guy sitting on the bench, the surrounding, and the soft photo, it really gives you a painterly-like vibe. This is probably my favorite photo of the entire roll. Alright, let's talk about the design. This camera also comes in two colors, black and champagne gold. This camera also has a clamshell type cover, which I think is a pretty cool design, but because of that, a lot of people don't use cases for these cameras, and because of that, you see a lot of copies online that are pretty scratched up, especially on the front part of the camera. Here is the LED screen, here's the self-timer button, and here's the button to switch between different flash modes. Here are all the modes in order. There are a bunch of red-eye reduction type modes, but I just stick with auto or turn the flash off completely. Here's the shutter button, and here's the zoom in and out button. There are actually two things that I really hate about the camera. One is the flash. I mean, I hate how the flash just pops up. I think it's a pretty ugly design. And probably the worst of it all is the viewfinder. Honestly, I constantly struggle and keep moving my eye around just so I can try to find it. You got a banger?
Got a banger. Yes. Whole 5 likes on Instagram.
We decided to end the photo walk here because Adam and JoJo had to prepare for a concert that they were having later that night. I also wanted to finish the roll there. I ordered some lemonade and chilled out for a bit. Then it was time for the concert, link to JoJo's album in the description. Well, that's the end of the roll and the video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. My final thoughts on the Olympus MJU is pretty much I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a trash point and shoot, but definitely not a great one either. The price ranges from around 600 to even 1,000 zloty, which is pretty high in my opinion. But then again, which camera isn't these days? The image quality isn't amazing and the autofocus at times misses, but I do think it's a perfect everyday camera. Definitely not for professional work, but for documenting life and capturing those precious moments, which to be honest is what photography is all about. The reason that I say it's a perfect everyday camera is because it's light and pocket size. You just throw it in your pocket and you completely forget that it's there. But don't use the zoom function unless you absolutely need to. Keep in mind that most of the time it will just come out blurry and just a useless photo. All in all, I won't be using this camera often, mainly because I have the Yashica T3 Super. If you want a camera just to pretty much document your life, I think it's a pretty okay camera, but only if you find it for cheap just like I did. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Like, subscribe, do all that jazz. And I'm off to listen to the Kim Possible theme song.